Hi, welcome to my channel, Inner Goddess Guidance. My name is Lara, and I created this channel as part of my mission as a divine feminine on the twin flame path. My intention here is to assist you with some tips and some tools that can give you extra support on your journey. I totally believe that every single person's journey is unique. We have some of the same kinds of experiences along the journey, but because we are different people, we have different pasts, even different past lives, all kinds of different situations. The way we approach our healing is uniquely our own. And so the process that I've developed is one that is adaptable to each and every person. I also really believe that our journey has to be, we have to assume control of our own journey. I know that on this twin flame experience, it can feel a lot of times like it's out of control, but there are lots of ways that we do actually have control, our own thoughts, our reactions or responses, or at least getting that, becoming aware of that and becoming in control of that. And then certainly our actions, the actions we choose to take. I also think we have to be really kind to ourselves. I think that self-love is at the absolute center of what it is that we are learning. And so as much as we can turn our attention, not in a selfish way toward ourselves, but in a mindful way toward ourselves, so that we can raise our own vibrations internally in terms of our love for ourselves, learning to first show unconditional love, healthy love for ourselves, the better off we're going to be in all of our relationships. I do believe that we are collectively here to help everybody on the planet. And so if you are a divine feminine on the twin flame path, or whoever you are that's here, thank you for making that a part of your intention, to be somebody who is an agent of change, and somebody who spreads love and is aware of the way that you and your behavior impacts other people. I think of that as being sort of like personal accountability. And so that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. I have two quick tips. And the first one, they're related to the same thing, that has to do with personal accountability. So I was thinking yesterday was Independence Day in India. And of course, one of the leaders of Indian independence was Gandhi. And one of my favorite Gandhi quotes is, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And yesterday, as I was contemplating that, I decided to do a little bit of research and discovered that he may not have actually even said that. But I don't think that's what's really important. That quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," is about personal accountability. So I don't treat other people the way they treat me. I really do treat them the way that I would want to be treated. And more than that, I listen to them in terms of how they would like me to treat them. And I treat them the way they ask to be treated. Because sometimes the way we would treat ourselves, if we're going through that assumption, isn't the way that somebody else would prefer to be treated. And one example of that is, when I was married, my husband processed things very differently than I did. And so if we were in a conflict, for example, he needed time and space to step away and really think. He needed time to process. And I'm kind of one of those people who wants to process right now. Let's solve the problem right now. But I had to understand that he needed something different than what my expectation was for myself. So if I was treating him the way I wanted to be treated, then I would be assuming, okay, we stay here now and we hash this out. But if I listen to the way he's telling me he needs to be treated, then I allow that space because he has asked for that. So if that makes sense, just a little tweak on that. And I also had an idea that came to me, two pieces really of the same coin. And what it is this: if you need something from someone, let's say you are really wanting clarity and truth and an apology, maybe. You want somebody to communicate with you about something that hasn't been resolved. The first tip I have is for you to sit down and take a good look at any situations in your own life where you have not been clear, honest, or provided closure, an apology if necessary, to someone else. That will get that energetic ball rolling. So make a little just ask yourself, I want this from someone. Is there anything in my past where someone could have wanted the same thing from me and I didn't provide that? And then you can do some energetic work to clear that. If possible, you can call them up or you can write them a letter or a card and you can clear that for yourself. And I think that makes the energy move in the direction of meeting your need then from somebody else, because you're clearing that from your past. The other tip that I had was to go ahead and assume that person's voice, if you will, and write yourself the apology that you wish you would receive. Yeah. So one time in one of the videos a while back, I suggested, and I think it was called Be Your Own Beloved, that you write yourself a love letter, that you buy yourself flowers. Well, this is just another way of meeting your own need. You have need for closure, for truth, for an apology. And I understand that that's not, you really want that to come from the other person, but that may not come. And you could be left waiting for a long time. But on an energetic level, you can sort of do some work to clear that by taking the time to assume that person's voice and write the letter or the apology that you wish you would receive. You could do it in meditation too. Meditation is one way to access the 5D. So you can go into meditation and put yourself in a chair or at a table face to face with the person that you need to communicate with or that you want to hear from. And you can have that conversation in the 5D. Either way, for me, a lot of times my needs are not 5D needs, they're 3D needs. And so as much as I can learn to meet my own needs on a level of self-love for myself, and sometimes it's a part of me that needs that. It's not like all of me. So for example, my rational adult self, my confident goddess energy woman, she may not need that apology. She may be fine. But the little girl in me, or the the lover in me, may need that apology. And so to sit down and write it in the 3D and read it back to yourself is sort of doing a self-parenting type behavior. It's meeting your own need for that. I think also that can energetically clear the way. So experiment with that. It's not always an apology. It can be anything that we need in the 3D, and just ask yourself, well, I need that and I want that to come from another person, but is that something I can do for myself? Even if it's just on an energetic level. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a thought that's real and a thought that's not. Isn't that crazy? It just doesn't. We judge that later, but to the brain, a thought is a thought, and they're all equal. So just for your brain and on an energetic level, if you do that kind of work, you're feeding those thoughts into your brain, and it's like eating a good meal or taking vitamins. You know, you are doing something that is good for you on an energetic level, even though it may not be, quote unquote, like real. It's real at a different level. I hope that made some sense to you. Okay, so today we're going to use the Divine Feminine Oracle and the, what's it called? It's called Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Those are the two decks that I'm using. Dear Spirit of the universe, of love and light, please be with us in this time and space as we focus our collective intention on gaining wisdom and guidance for our journey toward healing and self-mastery. We ask for open hearts and minds to receive the messages that will serve our highest and best good in the service of healthy love in all forms. With deep gratitude. Thank you. So first, from the Megan Watterson deck, the Divine Feminine Oracle. Your Spirit, please give us one card, one Divine Feminine energy can guide us. Thank you. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to cut. Mira Bai, the saint of true freedom. Love is what sets me free. I am married to my own soul. Talk about personal accountability. I love that thought. I am married to my own soul. Mira Bai, I think it's Bai. This takes a second because they're not in alphabetical order. That starts with an M, but it's not her. There she is, 84. The saint of true freedom. Love is what sets me free. I am married to my own soul. Mira Bai embodies a love that lets us do what's right for our own lives, no matter what others might think. Mira Bai, or Mira, is a Bhakti poet and mystic from Rajasthan, India. She was born a princess in the late 15th century. She unwillingly married Boshraj, the crown prince of Mewar, in 1516, but she considered Krishna to be her true husband. Legends say that her husband's family tried to kill her several times for defying the social customs and expectations of a wife. But in each of these legends, Mirabai's love for Krishna would miraculously save her. She wears the Krishna tilaka, forehead marking, as a sign of her devotion to him. Northern India in the 16th century was besieged by violent battles between Hindus and Muslims. Mirabai's husband, father, and father-in-law all died in the war with the Islamic army of Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire. Mira Bai refused to join her husband on his funeral pyre. Again, like women had to do that, right? Kill themselves with their husbands. And again defied social and cultural expectations. She became the central poet saint of the Bhakti movement during this difficult period in Indian history. The Bhakti movement was a spiritual path focused on the cultivation of a personal love for the divine. It's a devotional form of worship that believes anyone can have direct access to the divine, regardless of sex, caste, or religion. Mira Bai became a symbol of the people suffering under the caste system, and then persecution that ensued if anyone tried to defy social and political standing. Mirabai's poems are lyrical padas, or love songs, using metric verses. Well, I'm going to have to look up her poetry. And they are so widely known and cherished because they relate an ultimate freedom that Mirabai lived out in her love for Krishna. When your soul selects her card, often, without even realizing it, we make choices based on external expectations, on how we think other people will perceive our actions. Mirabai is about doing what's right for you and no one else. Ultimately, only you can know what needs to be done or said. You have this one brief life, and every second of it matters. Mirabai is about standing up for what you know is right for you, even if others will judge you for it. The fear of being persecuted can convince us not to be true to who we really are. There's a love, though, that's far greater than human constructs and cultural values. Love isn't ethical. Love isn't bound by any idea of what's socially acceptable. Love is what sets us free from the expectations that bind us. Love, in whatever way it finds us, asks us to stay loyal to our own soul. Any outside force or person who asks us to betray our most intimate relationship with the divine isn't acting out of love. For Mirabai, her true husband wasn't the one she was married to. The love that made her brave, the love that inspired her every poem and action, was a divine love for Krishna. So the laws that bound her to the strict expectations of being a wife didn't actually apply to her. Love asks us to look at what really matters to us and what we truly value. And love asks us to bravely defy expectations in order to be our true selves. Love wants us to marry our own soul. So the soul voice meditation: what holds me back from expressing my truth? And the intention: love is what sets me free. I am married to my own soul. That's so beautiful. I think a really good question to ask in journaling today for me, and if you keep a journal for you too, is what holds me back from expressing my truth? And I know for me, by and large, it is fear of judgment. Absolutely 100% it is fear of judgment. What will people think? Well, if I say this, especially when we're talking about things that happen to us on this journey, people will think I'm crazy. If I tell them Archangel Gabriel came and gave me a mission, well, who's going to believe me? Because, a year ago, I wouldn't have believed it, but I know it happened. What holds you back from speaking your truth? Are you worried about being abandoned by people? Are you worried that they'll say that you're crazy? Are you worried that they'll judge you for it in some other way? Here's the interesting thing, though, going back to Gandhi's quote, or the quote that's attributed to him: be the change you wish to see in the world. I think it's wonderful that we speak our own truths without fear. I think it's also important to understand that we need to receive people's truths, their truths, with as much love and acceptance as we want them to receive our truths. And these days, it's kind of hard because a lot of people are using the, well, it's my truth expression as a way of saying some pretty belligerent things to each other. And I guess if that's their truth, then it does say a lot about them that they want to say something so cruel. I have noticed that lately. Like, I decided personally on, like, when I watch political stuff, on YouTube or whatever, I don't make comments like I used to, because it's not important for me to tell them my truth. Like, I really think about, yeah, it's important for me to tell my truth, but to whom am I telling it? First and foremost, my truth, I need to be willing to tell my truth to myself. That's the first stage. And then the second stage is being brave enough to tell that truth to people close to me without fear of their judgment. The third thing for me is, can I receive their truth in a loving way that is the same way that I would want them to receive my truth, regardless of whether they have done that for me or not. So if I share a truth with them and they judge me, and then they share a truth with me, it's not like, well, I'm going to hit them back and show them what it feels like. I need to be accountable to being that change I wish to see in the world, which is, okay, now's my opportunity to, through my behavior, through my choices, receive their truth in the same way that I want them to receive mine. And not even tell them that. Just start being it. Just start doing it. So she's a fascinating person. I love that in this deck they're real people. And I intend to look up some of her poetry and see what she wrote. I bet she wrote some really beautiful things. Yeah. And I love the idea of marrying your own soul. To me, that's the same kind of thing as meeting your own needs. And it's talking about personal union, right? Like when we talk in the Twin Flame community about the union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine within you, becoming whole within yourself, that you're not seeking for somebody else to fill your holes. I mean, we're all sort of like Swiss cheese, we've got these holes in us, and the key is, when we get to a certain point, I think you can absolutely say, how do I fill these holes myself? I think that's a huge part of our journey. The self-healing journey is identifying the hole and then saying, okay, how do I fix it? How do I fill it for myself? Instead of putting that out on other people, for anyone to do. And then, once we're in that place, from that whole filled, self-loved place, we can then be in a place where we can give truly in an unconditional manner. We're not expecting back from somebody. And no, that does not mean that you allow somebody to treat you poorly. I think people use the unconditional love thing as a way of justifying codependency. And no, that's not the case. Because if you're in self-love, then you set healthy boundaries and you hold an expectation in relationships of healthy love. And that means you're willing to walk away from things that are not healthy for you. It doesn't mean you stop loving somebody. You can love them, but you don't stay in something that is hurtful for you because you love yourself first. Yeah. Thank you, Spirit. And did you notice she's from India? So that's neat. The divine feminine characters, energies, personalities in this deck come from all over the world. But I thought it was synchronistic that she came from India, and we were talking about Gandhi at the beginning. So thank you, Spirit. And now from the Ask and It Is Given deck from written by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Spirit, please give us one message today from the Ask and It Is Given Oracle. Oh, hey, something popped, but it just went right back in. Hang on, one more. Okay, I'm going to cut the deck again. It says, my emotional set points can be changed. On the back it says, your set points are achieved by attention to a subject. We want you to understand the extreme value in deliberately achieving your own set points. Because once you expect something, it will come. The details of it may play out differently, but the vibrational essence will always be an exact match. Attention to a subject. We want you to understand the extreme value in deliberately achieving your own set points. Once you expect something, it will come. So, I think that one of the things in relating back to the last message, trying to make a connection, once we have a healthy self-love, we've married our own soul, we've claimed our voice and unapologetically accepted ourselves unconditionally. Now we are at a set point to attract in at the same frequency another relationship that can do the same. Not to mention the fact that, remember, in twin flames, when one person can heal, on an energetic level, you're healing the other person. So if you can come into union with yourself, make yourself whole, you are filling your holes yourself. You are creating for yourself all that you can in terms of not waiting for somebody else to apologize to you. If you really need an apology, go ahead and see if energetically you can provide that for yourself. So in every way, providing for your own emotional needs, then that you are whole and that becomes your set point, and you would expect that to be returned back to you because that's what you are. That's the place that you're at. That's the vibrational place that you're at. And so, if you are energetically truly a twin, then according to twin flame theory, that's going to get you closer to union than anything else, right? But recognize that it's not coming from without, it's coming from within. That it's your own internal set point. Yep. I like that. Good messages today. That's it for today. Thank you so much. Oh, and please like, please subscribe, please comment. I love the comments. And I want you to know that, this channel is not about selling something to you. I've only asked one time for donations, and that was for the Oracle card creation so that I could consult with a lawyer and get started with that. And I appreciate and thank all the people who made donations. But this is not, this is very different in my opinion. Although I am a personal coach and I invite you to personal coaching, I truly 100% believe that you can do this all on your own. There are support systems, and if you would like to join the Facebook group, please come in, and all you have to do is ask to join, and I'll approve you. It's a beautifully supportive group of women. And the nice thing is that when we can connect with other people who have gone through similar experiences to us, we can provide support for each other and encouragement and applause. And really like there's some women who are tarot readers, or they're growing into their capacity, and so they'll post things in the group for the group, and other people who are sharing their photography, and just reaching out when they're having a struggle with a particular issue that they're going through at the time, and it's just a lovely place to support each other in that journey. So if you're looking for that, which I was looking for when I first started the journey, I needed people I really wanted to make some bonds. I wanted support. I didn't feel like it existed. But again, this isn't about selling something. It's a pathway to healing, and there are many, many pathways to healing. And hopefully, in some of the videos and some of what I say, there will be something that you can use. And I know it's not flashy, and I'm not, there's a lot of things I'm not, but there's something here valuable, I hope, for you. So thank you for joining me, and for being here, and for being on the twin flame path. Thank you for being somebody who is working hard to help our planet heal and spreading love. I appreciate that about you. Have a wonderful day. Happy healing. Bye.